WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas, Nevada. Honestly, what people described about this show in general, I will admit that it could have been better, but at the same time, for how people have just been waving and waving of how bad WrestleMania 41 is, honestly, you're really not making yourselves better when you're mostly the same people who wanted Vince McMahon out of the company. And truth be told, the TKO partnership, honestly, I'm mostly focusing on the people critiquing about the issues rather than the problem itself, because at this point, I really don't even find the sponsors that much of an issue. I mean, if it's a distraction to you, I can understand that, but for me personally, it really isn't. And honestly, when it comes to Christian Miracle singing Saturday and Sunday, I'm going to be doing a double feature of reacting to nights 1 and 2. Mainly the fact that I had that in mind for a while, and unlike the past where I reacted to part 1 and part 2 separately, since I had to do a reaction of one of the parts earlier than later, I'm going to be doing a double reaction, mainly the fact that I was in so much stress to consider on doing the reactions early. Honestly, I haven't watched Saturday's show since I was going to a benefit, but I did manage to watch the Sunday show. And judging of how Sunday was, it's the least best compared to Saturday, but then again, that also shows of what people's opinions are when it comes to the people wrestling and the booking itself, which, honestly, the IWC is beyond toxic to the point that it's probably going to be ranking up there if I'm ever going to do a ranking when it comes to toxic fan bases. But less said about that, the better. Time to do another reaction off of Christian Miracle's videos. This is my reaction of everything wrong with WWE WrestleMania 41, Saturday and Sunday. I really wish you actually have a logo of information about each night.
The prices on their tickets to the point where you are paying your entire mortgage.
Yeah, like, oh my god, why does tickets have to be so expensive?
5 cents for each night. I'll start with the 5 cents tonight and revisit this in the next video.
Lower the prices.
Seth Rollins likely changed out of this outfit because he realized it was spoiled.
I was actually at Raw last week and the tickets were $60, and that's just at the bad seated areas. Like, I was behind the stage. That's how terrible the prices are.
The focal point of its entire existence. This video to hype up WrestleMania Saturday sure seems adamant that we look at the feuds for tomorrow's show instead. If you're going to hype up the crowd with your video packages, at least show the matches we are about to see tonight, not tomorrow. It's kinda pointless to play Triple H's music when he's already in the ring with a microphone in his hand. Now he's gotta wait at least a minute to let the music play out.
That's honestly wasting more time than saving.
Fiend was without a doubt one of the worst choices for
I honestly wanted Dancing in the Flames from the Wicked as a WrestleMania theme, as I saw a video of it, of someone using it on Twitter with one of the match cards. It really fits with the show, Dancing with the Flames by the Wicked.
Entering through the crowd is what Jey Uso does, but for the sake of his grand entrance at WrestleMania, cheerleaders and flag carriers included, I think he should have walked down the actual ramp, making the flag carriers seem a little pointless if Jey is not present with them.
Yeah, really
However,
disappointing.
I won't take the first sin off because it was a fun entrance with over 60,000 fans cheering and yeeting along with Jey as he competes for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. But I am sadly putting that sin back because while it's a fun entrance, it takes a total of 8 minutes from the start to the end. And we haven't even gotten to Gunther's entrance. I'm all for the lengthy entrance, but not 8 minutes per wrestler. Gunther also has a spectacular entrance simply because he doesn't need anything but himself. The opening door revealing him standing on the stage was the chef's kiss.
It's probably going to take years until he gets a customized
Gunther
entrance, but
probably
who
would have won
knows.
this match had he not pulled a Last of Us Season 2 Episode 2 on Jimmy Uso in front of Jay.
You watched
Hopefully
the
teach him
you
never to go
watched
after
this
some of his
show?
loved ones in a few. 33 logos shown in this one shot. If there were 8 more, I'd consider that being done on purpose so that it can match the amount of WrestleManias that have existed. Jey Uso be like, I'm Samoan, I can take these chops no problem. Ow, shit, I forgot, I'm only impervious to headbutts.
And again, Gunther has to roll out of the way.
I'm honestly not a fan of Gunther running out of the ring multiple times just for a simple punch or kick from Jey Uso. It's completely out of his character to do so if you look at his history.
Gunther goes 6'4", 250.
There isn't much else to say regarding Gunther except for the amount of combined days he's been champion like we used to do for Roman Reigns. There also isn't much else to say about Jey Uso except for Yi, which means a lot of things in the language. Gunther's overconfidence in himself due to his 4-0 record over Jey Uso is what inevitably cost him the World Heavyweight Championship. Even The Undertaker didn't have overconfidence when he used to be undefeated at WrestleMania for 20 plus years.
Yeah, definitely.
And this is what we are afraid of.
You were afraid of the ring not making any noise when Gunther hit power bombs?
On to Jey Uso. And now Jey Uso's spear.
Ooh.
The Hurricane Rana counter was awesome. The spear, not so much. I'd hope that Jey Uso learned more on how to properly
Yeah,
execute
it really
the
feels
spear
like a
after he's been doing
Christian
it for a few
spiel
years.
whenever Christian does spiels.
I'm confused.
Ever since
Didn't
Edge
Gunther
retired
get his
in
ass kicked by both
2011.
Sheamus and Drew McIntyre 2 years ago at WrestleMania 39, but didn't once give up and kept
Oh
going,
my God.
which led him to win the match?
It's difficult to
Why is
keep
he running away so much
continuity,
from a guy
but
he
at this
defeated 4
point,
times in the last year
nothing
without
makes sense
controversy?
anymore.
And Jey Uso now.
You mean to tell me that Jey Uso was willing to slice the referee in half just to go after Gunther since he didn't seem to be stopping in the direction he was heading? This just got even more dark. Jey Uso watched Gunther's match with Ilya Dragunov back when he was Walter at the final NXT TakeOver event and realized that sleeper holds are his ultimate weakness, which is why it worked here. And I am yeeting away 10 sins even if it pisses off the internet wrestling community, because Jey
I mean,
Uso
I honestly
deserves
want
this
Jey
World
Uso to
Heavyweight
have a
Championship win.
longer World
Yeet.
Championship
WWE
reign, but
shows
still.
the graphics of the War Raiders and the New Day as the World Tag Team Championship match is coming up next. But in case you somehow didn't figure that out, WWE has got your back by showing the graphics all over again. Also, WWE looks at the 2 sets of
I
tag team
actually noticed
championships they had
that.
and realized
Granted,
they
I
could
didn't
only
watch
choose
the
one.
show, but
So let's see.
I think it happened
Pick a
again in the
rematch
next
that was
night.
done less than 2 weeks ago? Or should we go for a triple threat TLC match that will no doubt give fans endless memories? And
Yeah, honestly, why the heck did the triple threat TLC match happen on SmackDown rather than this show? Seriously, why did they not include it?
And didn't have much of a build, somehow was
Like,
able to
come
get a 5-minute
on.
video package. Doesn't look like the War Raiders get their special lighting as it's not even 5 o'clock in the afternoon over here and the sun is still shining into the stadium. Getting awkward flashbacks to the time Bray Wyatt and The Undertaker had to do their signature dark entrance in the afternoon sun 2
Yeah.
years ago. War Raiders non-pyro. Or did they actually have pyro? It's hard to tell from here because the pyro explodes at the top of this recreated hotel and we're like 4 stories below it.
And this is an absolute disgrace.
Wade Barrett believes War Raiders dressed as Clash of
Wade's
Clans
War
characters,
Destroyers
which is
hate all.
despite the fact that they look the closest to said characters compared to if New Day wore them.
And
Just
the
saying.
heel New Day fan.
Pat McAfee knows how much I love to skip the advertisements and try to do it for me, but Michael Cole got to him first. At least you tried, Pat. Xavier Woods punches Eric and then backs away when Eric gives him that deadly stare, even though Xavier could still do some damage to him as his arms were wrapped around Kofi Kingston.
Double team.
Impressive strength by Eric to lift up Ivar like that and throw him into New Day, but he also nearly caused Ivar to whiplash his surgically repaired neck on the ring apron. And hasn't this team been in and out of action enough times already? Absolute brutality.
I hope that Alicia Taylor is upset that Xavier Woods stole her haircut.
Why the hell would Alicia Taylor be pissed off at Xavier Woods wearing a similar hairstyle? To be fair, Xavier has been wearing these hairstyles well before Alicia ever debuted in WWE.
Yeah, that is true.
And all is forgiven.
Wade Barrett actually believes New Day winning the World Tag Team titles again will make everyone forgive them for their act against
Oh
Big
my
E. Wade
God.
Barrett is an idiot.
Those cheeks knowing something bad's coming. And the honor roll.
No disrespect, but added theatrics doesn't make a clothesline any more effective unless it's like Logan Paul doing the buckshot lariat or JBL doing the clothesline from hell. All Xavier Woods did was flip forward, stand up, and then clothesline Ivar from his current position.
The top rope, there's the...
Xavier Woods, while trying to prevent his team from losing, is actually a dick to his own partner as Kofi Kingston got even more flattened like a New Day pancake just from Xavier landing on Ivar.
Oh, and listen to that kick.
You mean that knee?
Leg, Kofi Kingston with the step.
Okay, I get that Kofi Kingston held onto Ivar's other leg, but that wasn't exactly going to stop him from getting his shoulder up. Kicking out isn't the only way to get out of a pinfall, and Kofi should know this, having 17 years of experience in WWE. Even then, Ivar wasn't kicking out anyway, so that was more unnecessary. But still, a victory by means of using your partner for leverage on the pinfall is always a sin. Crazy how the weekend hops back and forth between being an official theme to an additional theme of WrestleMania with each passing year.
I still want the
2020,
dancing
May.
of the flames as the main theme of this show's
2023,
of this show's WrestleMania, but hopefully next year with a different song, but who
Though with
knows?
the theme we currently got, I wish the weekend was the main theme this time.
Yeah.
It took WWE 41 years to actually have a one-on-one non-title women's match that actually involved
least we got
wrestling
everyone
and not
else's
filler
wish.
fights and strip matches for ugly virgins. So Jade
Jeez.
Cargill knew that Naomi was the one who attacked her because she says she saw her run away before passing out again. This makes me question why she waited nearly 4 entire months before saying anything about it, not to mention ghosting Bianca Belair entirely. The yellow caution tape would have been a nice addition to Naomi's entrance had they actually put up real caution tape across the entrance for Naomi to break through. The banners with the tape on it just didn't add into the moment.
I hear thunder.
This entrance was in reference to Jade Cargill's music A Storm Is Coming, but they could not have chosen a worse guy to do the weather updates because he doesn't seem to care that all of a sudden the weather changed into dangerous levels like the day after tomorrow.
Jade Cargill has absolutely no weaknesses
Except when it comes to windshields and friendships. Oops, did I say that too loud?
for combat.
The referee only pulls wrestlers away from their opponents on the ropes when it becomes convenient enough for the villain to poke the eyes.
The ring and oh!
Naomi
Ooh.
slowly dragging Jade Cargill out of the ring makes one thing: Jade will counter the X Factor. And then we cringe in pain when it successfully connects because that bump looked brutal
Yeah.
once enough.
And now Naomi right to the
Ooh.
Naomi missed the drop kick to Jade's arm, yet Jade still fell off the ring apron anyway.
You ever see a more confident version of Naomi?
Actually, yes, when she was dominating the SmackDown Women's Division in 2017, and when she was part of TNA, though that was Trinity and not Naomi, but still.
for a blockbuster again.
Not only was that amazing strength from Jade Cargill to keep Naomi in the air after catching her, but also amazing strength from Naomi to keep herself in the air like that. Both women deserve praise for this. A double sin remover.
From the second rope, this time going to go again.
I'm surprised Naomi even attempted to leap onto Jade knowing she was watching her for nearly 20 seconds. I would have pretended I was going to jump to distract Jade and then jump for the crossbody.
On the top floor.
I'm impressed at the moves these two women are performing. It's just a shame that a lot of this match is them slowly getting into position to execute them. When the fans said they wanted to see the Sphere in Las Vegas during WrestleMania week, this is not what they had in mind. Jacob Fatu is known as the Samoan Werewolf. The name is good on its own without the need of this wolf mask that clearly looks like it belonged to the Wyatt Six.
It
Also,
definitely
this has to
belongs
be
in the
very
Wyatt
awkward
Six,
for
let's be
Solo Sikoa.
real.
Post WrestleMania 40, he was in main event after main event in multiple PLEs, including Money in the Bank, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series. All just to have a tiny cameo at WrestleMania 41 hyping up Jacob Fatu for 5 seconds.
And not to mention that people
Takes
were
LA Knight his
criticizing
entire
him when it
entrance
comes to
before
him
the ring
losing
announcer
so many
realized she forgot to
matches.
introduce him.
Dozens of WWE Hall of Famers.
Michael Cole mentions how many WWE Hall of Famers have held the United States Championship and then begins to list them at the start of a U.S. title match cliche.
Hell of a beating last
Mia, oh, after the
Jacob Fatu countering the BFT simply by falling with it and catching himself at the last second was freaking awesome. This is when you knew LA Knight was screwed, and we're only 50 seconds into the match too.
Truthfully, LA Knight should have held the
Maybe
championship
don't slap your
long
legs
ago and then
before you
actually
drop onto LA Knight
lose it to
because you
Jacob
likely
Fatu
has
rather
watched
than
all of
Shinsuke
Rikishi's matches over the
Nakamura.
years. Just like the picture in the Firefly Funhouse that's never straightened out, and probably still isn't, it always bothered me that this set of lights are set in an awkward position as if it's going to detach and fall into the
Maybe
ring.
it's supposed to be the
Someone please fix
style of
maybe not.
the position of
Technically, LA Knight was going
Las
for a crucifix
Vegas,
pin, but
casino
Jacob Fatu
stuff.
simply didn't jump
I
back
don't
in time,
know.
causing LA to
I really
release him.
don't know, but it's supposed to be a style that I don't know
Yes,
of.
but Wade Barrett has never won the United States Championship throughout his WWE run. Kind of the wrong person to talk to about winning this championship. We can pick up this conversation tomorrow, though.
as Jacob Fatu.
Samoan wrestler leaps into the corner and whacks his face on the ring post while grabbing it cliche. Rest in peace, Umaga. Every time I see someone do that, I think of you. Great, now I'm sad again.
I'm sad too.
If you thought Jacob Fatu doing a moonsault from the top rope was impressive, that German superplex causing Jacob to sort of do his moonsault was awesome.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, holy shit. Talk about perfect timing and execution.
Yeah.
Morrison's taking off the counter. Another WrestleMania, another splendid day for the Anoa'i family. Jey Uso wins the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and now Jacob Fatu wins the United States Championship, followed by Roman Reigns main eventing his record 10th WrestleMania. At least in this scenario, it doesn't feel forced. This is the perfect time for me to say that this was the most crammed WrestleMania week I've ever seen. Last night, there was SmackDown followed by the Hall of Fame in a different venue, causing the show to go well past midnight in the Pacific. Today had NXT Stand and Deliver.
Honestly, I'm not really a fan of these types of schedules. Honestly, the schedules that they had
tomorrow is WrestleMania Sunday, followed by
before 2020s were much more better. Mainly NXT in one night and WrestleMania
in addition to Chad
one
Gable
night.
missing
I'm
WrestleMania,
still a fan
it
of
just
one night.
feels
I'm
weird
sorry.
that Rey Fenix definitely would have missed out on this being his first WrestleMania had Rey Mysterio not injured his groin. This match got switched up as many times as
at least
this year.
Rey Fenix is performing at WrestleMania.
Saturday was
so many upsides.
Like Americano.
Nothing against Rey Mysterio, but still.
This was still entertaining to watch. Politics. For the sake of those with epilepsy, I will spare you. I'm just saying that WWE should not be utilizing strobe lights for a wrestler's entrance. Still difficult to watch Shinsuke Nakamura's entrance from his NXT days, and I don't even have epilepsy.
It didn't bother me, but I can understand everyone else's problem.
AAA, Vikingo is fair game for assaulting. Take it easy, man. The Worlds Collide event is still a couple months away. And for some reason on the same night as Money in the Bank.
This referee is just allowing that to take place.
Vikingo technically didn't attack El Grande Americano after the bell rang. It was all done before. So are you saying Rey Fenix should be disqualified from life? Yikes, that just got dark. Michael Cole thinks that just because El Grande does a German suplex, he's automatically Chad Gable. Did he also think that Chad Gable was Kurt Angle when he was doing those suplexes?
I'd have to do more research, which we should do for the next PLE.
Unfortunately, you're going to be too busy doing something else on the next PLE, Pat.
Oh!
That's a very familiar looking moonsault. Are we positive that El Grande Americano isn't secretly Ricochet in disguise?
He's not.
Like a chicken over in AEW? Attempted mask ripping. That's a sin even if it's a luchador trying to do that to another luchador. Matter of fact, that makes it even worse. Wow, yes, kicking the metal plate would hurt Rey Fenix's foot. I think it would hurt El Grande Americano even more as the plate was already on his face and got kicked back into his forehead.
Chad Gable ankle lock.
Chad Gable doesn't own the fucking ankle lock, you asshole. Not even Kurt Angle owned the ankle lock when he used it.
Then who owns the ankle
lock? What the hell
lock?
was the referee doing that for? Rey Fenix wasn't even hinting that he was going to tap out, yet he proceeded to signal the timekeeper? El Grande pay him off to do the WrestleMania screw job or something? Bringing in Shawn Michaels just so he can announce the number of fans in attendance. If he ain't here to give a sweet chin music to someone, this has been a waste of time. You guys already showed Dana White at ringside less than 20 minutes ago. Why are we going back to him? This is a cute entrance with the Barbie boxes, but they couldn't have put two other women dressed similarly to Tiffany Stratton at the
Yeah, honestly, that's honestly a missed opportunity.
I think that would have had a better effect because there are different Barbie dolls out there. Oh, thank God. I have been stuck in that box for the last 2.5 hours since the show began, and it's hot as fuck in there. Not gonna lie, driving cars into the stadium as your WrestleMania entrance is what happens when you run out of creative ideas. John Cena made it look cool with the Mustang, Batista made it look cool with the added security. Becky Lynch, LA Knight, and Charlotte Flair just made it look like they had an Uber escort them into the stadium. Charlotte Flair was excited for her return to WrestleMania and then became pissed off when she realized she's at another odd-numbered Mania where she has never won. True story, look at her record. Funny how WWE labels Charlotte Flair as a 14-time champion, with her Divas Championship reign being one of them, but it is not shown on this accomplishment screen. Yet her two NXT women's title reigns, which are somehow not counting on the record, are present here. When you think about it, she already is a 16-time champion. This might just be me, but I was having a hard time figuring out who was who in this match, as Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton look and dress nearly identical to each other. One moment I cheered when Tiffany hit a move and then realized that was actually Charlotte.
Submission, the only way.
High fall? What the fuck is a high fall in a wrestling match? Charlotte Flair can only win the women's championship by means of a submission or a high fall, apparently.
Tiffany may well be it.
What do you mean? Are they playing tag now? Do you win that by means of a high fall too?
One-on-one on the biggest stage.
That was a brutal back suplex onto the barricade. Or at least it could have been brutal had Tiffany not already been on the barricade by the time Charlotte dropped her.
It's really hard to game plan for Charlotte Flair.
Considering she does almost the same moves every time she wrestles a match, I'd say it's actually pretty easy to game plan for a match with her, no offense.
Into a Boston Crab.
Actually, that's more of a lion tamer than a Boston Crab, since Charlotte is not sitting down on Tiffany here.
He's fighting the champ still.
Yeah, get underneath.
Whatever the hell that was supposed to be. Ballroom dancing?
Tiffany, oh.
A lot of times I'm questioning what I just saw. This included because I'm wondering if Tiffany was supposed to sunset flip Charlotte into a pin or do some modified backstabber. And instead she just cracked Charlotte's back like it was stiff and in need of help. I would normally say that this is just the villain monologuing, but considering how many miscommunications we've seen, I think that was a genuine show me what you got, as we have yet to see what Tiffany Stratton truly has got in this match.
Tiffany countered.
Someone let me know when this pain will end, please.
Charlotte Flair. Oh, shit, for a fit.
That Batista bomb probably did not finish off Tiffany Stratton because Charlotte Flair's name is not Dave Batista.
Of course.
Another Flair is now a bullseye.
Wait, what? Charlotte landed on the bad knee, couldn't even put weight on it, then Tiffany kicked the leg multiple times and smashed it on the canvas multiple times, and suddenly Charlotte's leg magically healed? WWE logic.
Of course.
Flair, natural selection.
Maybe some moves should just stick to being executed like they normally do and not from the top rope.
Sends Charlotte whiplash.
That version of the Alabama slam into the corner would have looked cool and brutal had Charlotte not landed on her feet before she ever came close to the turnbuckle. Correction, this flashback to the Hall of Fame should actually say earlier this morning due to its timing and placement. What this graphic forgot to include is the custody of Paul Heyman stipulation, since literally everyone in this
people are just memeing the Dominic Mysterio situation back in SummerSlam 2005.
Seth Rollins wearing a fire retardant suit
As much as you want to meme it, it's probably never going to happen with someone else.
You can see the awkwardness on his face as he realized too late that maybe this wasn't the best idea for a costume. Also, nearly 20 minutes of entrances for 3 wrestlers. It's only a matter of time before the entrances start lasting an entire hour here, requiring a third night of WrestleMania. And then Seth Rollins literally burns down the WrestleMania set, accidentally killing the VIP spectators in the process. Missed opportunity to reveal the Monday Night Messiah gimmick and music. That would have been a cool plot twist if I'm being perfectly honest. Plot twist, Roman Reigns had the screens drop onto the ramp to prevent CM Punk from being able to make it to the ring in his first WrestleMania main event. WWE plays CM Punk's video package and then proceeds to spoil Living Color appearing on the stage by cutting to them. Dicks. Oh my kill switch! Making a cameo like Broken Dreams during Clash of the Castle. Still, the fact that we get both this fire and Cult of Personality in the same night was a special treat worth 5 cents taken off the counter. Redemption from 12 years ago when the lyrics began with "my eyes" instead of "look in my eyes." I haven't been a personal fan of CM Punk lately, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't smiling, headbanging to the song, and feeling the emotions of Punk finally getting a main event of WrestleMania with Paul Heyman by his side. There are just some things that feel right, and this is the perfect example. Way to go, Alicia. You just caused Corey to fuck up the lyrics due to your ring announcing. WWE should go back to how it used to be. When a live performance is in progress, all commentators and ring announcers shut their fucking mouths until the performance is complete. Otherwise, they're ruining the moment. Also, now I'm guessing Living Color has to return to another WrestleMania to get redemption.
Oh my god.
Why did Living Color cut the song before CM Punk finished his entrance? That's not even how the song ends either, so what gives? Nearly 3 minutes of standing around and doing nothing before the match begins. CM Punk knows how much Roman Reigns is jealous of Paul Heyman standing alongside his best friend and not his tribal chief. So Punk goes to Paul and asks for words of wisdom from the wise man, already playing mind games.
And Rollins now said, "We're not working together."
That was Roman Reigns who declared he wasn't working together with anyone, as it was Roman punching Seth Rollins, not the other way around.
Intel, CM Punk.
CM Punk.
When it happened, it has. And Punk.
Can I just take a moment and say Roman's reasoning for being mad at CM Punk lacks logic? He says Punk screwed him at the Royal Rumble by throwing him over the top rope. That was somehow enough for Roman to declare a WrestleMania main event-sized amount of hatred towards CM.
And when Punk came back to all the fanfare, it pissed Rollins off.
Sure, I can understand some of Seth's anger towards CM Punk. However, he's acting like Punk fucked Becky Lynch and won custody of their daughter. That's when his anger becomes less justifiable and more of obsession.
Crowd here in Las Vegas.
CM Punk borrows a chair from a fan to use against Seth, while Seth borrows a bag of t-shirts? Yeah, that'll totally hurt both
Wow,
of the connects.
that is just weird.
Really? Michael Cole has seen garbage cans used for decades and still somehow didn't recognize it? It still looks the same as it did back in the 90s.
Yeah. Ooh.
Badass to see Roman Reigns leap over the barricade into the audience so he can take out both Seth and Punk. So far, this triple threat has been wild and exciting. Keep it up. The Spanish commentators be like, you said these tables were indestructible and nobody would try and break them. You lied to us.
Of his career, if he's pulling out.
Copy Reigns' infringement.
Everybody, Superman punch!
If there's anything I loved about this match, it was the amount of excellent coordination by all three wrestlers. Really felt fast and furious, unlike the actual Fast and Furious.
On the shoulders.
CM Punk prepares to lock in the Anaconda Vice on Roman Reigns, so the cameraman figures now is the perfect time to pan away from the action? What the hell, bro? Got your nose.
Took his time.
Going for broke, nobody...
Seth Rollins prayed to God that he would successfully connect the Phoenix Splash, but God remembered that Seth is an atheist and refused to help him. Conversations during matches, as you can clearly hear Seth Rollins tell CM Punk to kick out of the pedigree.
You allowed me. You allowed Mox.
Who the hell is Mox, is what Roman Reigns was likely thinking in his head.
I guess it's
What
the
hell
shoulder
did you
name of
expect, Sash? You
Moxie.
told Roman Reigns that he
John
has nobody
Moxie's
and
last
everybody
name.
hates him. You thought he would team up with you after that? This truly is a WrestleMania moment. The American announce table was destroyed while the Spanish table was completely spared.
Wah, wah, wah.
Well, I guess everyone is infringing the copyright of their opponent's moves. We're going to see a go to sleep from Roman Reigns and a spear from Seth Rollins. Alright, we are reaching the point where the finishers are being
Of
kicked out
course.
way too many times.
Honestly,
Seth Rollins
I
has taken
watched
two
a
go-to-sleeps,
match
a
from
powerbomb
Ruthless
to the table, two spears,
Aggression
one
era,
of which was
and
executed with the
it
running
was
force
shows that the
against the rope.
finish
He spent the
shows
last 2
were
minutes
much
being
more
locked in a
done
guillotine
better
chokehold.
since
Yeah, they
people were
overdid it
not
on the
kicking
finishing
out
kickouts.
multiple times.
Heyman has made his choice!
Paul Heyman hasn't
Honestly,
turned
one of
on
the good
CM
things
Punk
when it
or
comes to
Roman
the Vince
Reigns yet,
McMahon
and
era,
even I
but
knew that he chose Seth Rollins'
mainly
side.
in the
It was
Ruthless
pretty
Aggression
obvious, as
era
we've
and
seen
before
sort
the
of
PG
address
era,
that
but
many times over the
that's a
years,
different
even from
topic.
Paul Heyman himself. Both CM's Punks and Roman's Reigns were victims of Paul Heyman being a dick. That was a weird way of saying the phrase. And thus begins a new era of Seth Rollins aligning with Paul Heyman. Anytime WrestleMania concludes with a...
It's honestly surprising that
it's
Paul
exciting.
Heyman
Hell, more
is
exciting than the hero
still
of the
around and still making great things. Like, it's kind of impressive. Granted, I thought Paul Heyman was done once Brock Lesnar left WWE in 2020, but I guess there was a lot more when it comes to his passion. So that was night 1, and truth be told, judging of how night 2 was handled, night 1 is slightly better. Granted, it's mostly debatable if you think that night 1 isn't that bad of a show, which for me personally, I'm one of them, but at the same time, what I'm going to be witnessing when it comes to Sunday's night, honestly, it's going to be difficult to look at the opinions when it comes to the wrestling community. So let's just see how Christian Miracle thinks of WrestleMania night Sunday. I didn't mean to say that, night 2.
Someone help me home, cause I still feel your hello. I know that I'm leaving with ghosts.
Honestly, you should probably within what night
As promised,
you
I
have
returned
different
to WrestleMania
opinions.
Sunday
Like,
with
you
the 5 sins
shouldn't
I added at the start of Saturday's
instantly
video. You sadly have to pay an
put
entire
Saturday
mortgage
and
just to get a
Sunday.
single Mania
I
ticket.
actually want to see your
Hashtag lower the
opinions on
prices.
each night.
Cody glasses.
It doesn't
Wrestler
feel
prepares for a match
anonymous
while
like
hidden
it
in the
was back
darkness
then.
cliche. Looks like another night of potential cliches. If you want to show the fans the wrestlers when they arrive at the stadium, fine. But don't show them what the wrestlers are going to wear to the ring because it's supposed to be a surprise. Takes away from their entrance when you already know what they're wearing.
Okay, true.
I I know that we have Pyro explode after Stephanie McMahon welcomes us to WrestleMania Sunday, but I miss the days when we set up the Pyro at WrestleMania right after the announcer literally welcomes us to WrestleMania.
Honestly,
That's how it should always be.
disappointing.
Last time WrestleMania was in Las Vegas, WrestleMania 9.
I would not be boasting about that. Let's just pretend this is the first time WrestleMania has been to Las Vegas ever. Hell, Atlanta destroyed their Georgia Dome just so there could be no proof that WrestleMania 27 never existed in the city.
I was 16. My middle daughter is 16 years old.
It's kind of sad of
Is that
how
why Minneapolis got screwed this year?
the first WrestleMania is that WrestleMania that is
Shooting off
bad.
the pyrotechnics without activating the concussion boom. Way to go, Las Vegas. Not off to a good start after last night's rough show.
Io Sky lost to Bailey. Does that weigh on her mind?
I don't see why it would. It's not like Bailey is in this match or anything. I think she's more focused on the fact that she's never won at WrestleMania by this point. I can get the army of people dressed up like Bianca Belair, but what's with a jump rope? That's an awkward addition to the entrance. See why I said the jump rope was an awkward addition? We're watching people mess up on the stage. These graphics are really trying to jinx the wrestlers tonight. For Bianca Belair's case, it says she is 4-0 at WrestleMania, which dies tonight. And it says Rhea Ripley is undefeated in world title matches.
I really
at
feel bad.
WrestleMania,
Like, we're
which
never
also
going to
dies
have
tonight.
a
The only one
WrestleMania
who got
streak
spared
from
was Io
anyone
Sky,
else who's
which
willing
said
to
she is
stay in the
undefeated
company
in
for
triple
that
threat
long.
matches.
Oh, yet again. And Io
Love that little reference. After weeks of literally being on the outside looking in and being shoved away, Io Sky has had enough of the disrespect and immediately asserts that she is the champion in this match.
Although if Io Sky wants to get into a power game.
Another center move for that perfect Hurricane Rana counter by Bianca Belair, throwing Io Sky into Rhea Ripley so that Rhea takes the Hurricane Rana instead. Let's go.
Advantage of those freak
Look at this sequence here. If Io Sky can flail all over the place like that, then she could easily just walk through Bianca Belair and escape the oncoming punches. It's not like Bianca has her trapped in the corner or anything.
Io top. Oh my goodness, double block.
Rhea and Bianca each get hit by Io's blockbuster, then have to adjust their positioning in the ring. Ow, that hurt. Oh shit, we're out of place. Quick, move before the center finds us. Uh-oh, too late.
It is much warmer in this stadium than it was last night.
I don't see how that's possible considering Allegiant Stadium is entirely indoors. It's not like last year when Sunday was warmer outside in Philadelphia than it was on Saturday.
Swing is going to have a baseball team here in a couple of years.
That was funny. Bianca swings Io at Rhea, who catches Io, and then they both decide, why not, as they toss Io into the barricade. I love me some good comedy amidst an intense championship match at WrestleMania.
Rhea blames Bianca Belair for losing the championship.
That doesn't make any sort of
Wow.
sense. This is why the build-up was
Jeez.
confusing at times. Rhea Ripley blames Bianca Belair for her loss to Io Sky after the Elimination Chamber solely because Bianca was clapping to Io's moves. It'd be understandable if Bianca was taunting Rhea.
If you're wondering,
All she did
it's
was apply
raining
Io.
out.
Very stupid if you ask me.
For all three women, Io.
Io Sky pulling a Shawn Michaels from SummerSlam 20 years ago by overselling the Superplex.
Out of Vegas, Bianca, shooting star.
That's a 450 splash, Michael. You've been calling matches for nearly 3 decades and couldn't tell the difference between a shooting star press and a 450 splash? Rhea Ripley gets Io Sky in a position for a super riptide from the top rope and does everything in her power, not connecting the move, which in turn allows Io to recover and counter it. I'd be more impressed with the counter had it not been done due to Rhea's stupidity.
Boots up. KOD.
The over the moonsault counter with a kick to the face, which caused Io to back up right into the KOD from Bianca. This match is so wonderfully coordinated for the most part, and that's why it's the perfect opening match for tonight.
Oh yeah.
An excellent match full of excitement all the way around. Let's remove some more sins and hope this momentum keeps up through the rest of WrestleMania Sunday. One thing I like about this is WrestleMania switched up the graphics and the colors for each night of the weekend.
Yeah, I
Saturday,
actually
the match
am a fan
graphics
of
were on
that.
the screen
Granted,
with
I was a fan of the
Tonight, it's a bunch of bright
cards,
colors with the Las
graphics,
Vegas logo
but
in
this
the
is
background.
honestly a good take onto making each
Okay, I can understand Drew McIntyre's
night of
losses to
WrestleMania
Damian
good.
Priest at WrestleMania 40,
Even though I'm not
and
gonna be
Clash
a
at the
fan
Castle
of
as a
WrestleMania
result
with
of
Tony to
CM
Las
Punk screwing him
Vegas
over.
next to you.
Though in the former, it was Drew's own fault for getting in Punk's face. But Damian beating Drew in the Royal Rumble match and the Elimination Chamber match is not getting screwed at all. It's the whole point of its existence. How does any of that make sense? So what happens if I press the red button on Drew's chest? Does he start making sense about being upset? Kerry King, bro. Fucking Slayer. And the fact that both Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest literally combined Doomslayer into their 2 entrances made it even better. What better way to sponsor a video game than to have their entrances performed in reference?
Anything goes here in this thing.
In case somehow you didn't figure that out from this match being labeled as a street fight.
And now McIntyre stalking.
Yes,
Really?
McIntyre stalking by being entirely
God.
unconscious as a result of the stairs whacking him in the face. I find it funny that the American and Spanish commentators switched positions from last night, as the Spanish got destroyed last instead of first. So they figure switching places will cause the Spanish team to get destroyed first tonight. Pretty dumb, but let's see if that holds out. Drew McIntyre remains bored at work, and I love that he tweets yet again during WrestleMania just like last year. Creepy face and sadistic plan, but Drew is wasting so much time and not keeping an eye on Damian, who is almost fully recovered. Drew McIntyre never once takes his eyes off Damian Priest, so he sees Damian get up and pick up a chair in the process, and somehow doesn't see anything coming.
That's honestly worse than Leo not looking at Leo
The Claymore
on the
kick
top
obviously
rope.
didn't work for Drew McIntyre because he clearly kicked Damian Priest in the arm instead of the face. I don't see why Drew would be frustrated that it didn't work, since kicks to the arm don't tend to knock anyone unconscious.
McIntyre is going to be peeing blood.
I needed to know that about as much as I needed to know that Jerry Lawler was once suffering from anal bleeding in 2011. What? Well done, Drew. You just shattered your own back and protected Damian from hitting the stairs whatsoever as a result of the V shape on the stairs. I won't lie, I actually forgot about the two tables set up on the outside, but I love that Damian knew he had no shot of stopping this from happening, so he covers his head to protect himself from not just the table setup, but the announce desk that nearly killed JD McDonough back in January. This was an amazing street fight.
The best seat in the house.
Being in a Goodyear blimp is indeed the best seat in the house, except for when you actually want to watch the wrestling, because we are clearly shit out of luck out here. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy Penta's entrance, but it feels awkward that the pyrotechnics are so high up and far away from him in comparison to it spinning behind him. This is why WrestleMania should figure out a way to customize their stages without cramping the space. Also, over 11 minutes of entrances, clearly to make sure people can use the bathroom or get some food before the match begins, but still. Dominic Mysterio wears a mask but then can't even take it off. Sorry dude, but because of the many times luchadors had their masks ripped off, they came up with this device that seals the mask onto your head until the show is over. You're fucked.
Explain to me that match.
Hey, YouTube just turned 20 years old this year, so Finn Balor pays tribute to one of the original memes. It's peanut butter jelly time.
Oh my god.
WrestleMania match.
But why is it on his ass?
You're the weak link in this matchup, so I don't...
Penta knows that Dominic Mysterio and Finn Balor will more than likely team up as they're part of the Judgment Day still, so he chooses to go after Braun Breaker?
WrestleMania. And now Penta.
Dominic Mysterio was watching Penta the entire time and could have suckered him in by moving out of the way, but somehow he didn't see that crossbody coming.
Bertie Dom needs those dude whites after that.
Haha, fuck you.
50%. Penta's half scared, so he'll take 12.5%.
The commentators doing Steiner match during this match was not on my bingo card for this year, but then again, neither was The Rock no showing at WrestleMania 41.
Experience!
You see, I'm not impressed at all with this because it's a time-wasting move. You got your
Especially
opponents
looks
in the corner
less
waiting to get
effective.
hit,
I mean,
and will you
granted,
hurry the fuck up already?
It
Added
could be more
theatrics
effective
doesn't
if I
make the
felt
kick any
it, but it
more
really
effective
feels
than it
so
would be if Penta ran it
slow
thin and done.
for how it's
How the hell did
executed.
Carlito get here? And why is he reduced to just being a coach?
Come on, like this is also Carlito also left WWE, so this really makes it really disappointing.
When he's legally a competitor here. Well, so much for your switching places idea helping out the American announce table as it got destroyed first once again. Haha. Heel or not, Dominic Mysterio getting a major WrestleMania moment by winning his first Intercontinental Championship, just like his father Ray did 16 years ago, was heartwarming and emotional to see, like father like son.
By stabbing his partner in the back.
It's not stabbing in the back if it's a fatal four-way match where it is every man for himself. You should know this, Michael. Interrupt WrestleMania 41 to bring you WrestleMania 38. Apparently a match that involves Randy Orton against somebody he doesn't even know requires a video package beforehand. I know that this is his 20th WrestleMania, but there's really not much of a story to tell here. The mystery opponent is the TNA World Heavyweight Champion Joe Hendry.
I'm honestly
And I will
surprised
admit,
it was
that
Joe
a pleasant
Hendry.
surprise. I also like that
I
we
was
saw him
thinking of
before the
someone
music
else.
actually hit, with the door slowly opening for the reveal. That was a nice added touch. Big fan of Joe Hendry. I indeed believe in him. But I also believe that he spent way too much time posing for the crowd than he did actually trying to defeat Randy Orton, which of course led to his defeat in only 3 minutes.
Ooh.
Say the sin and it
Oh my god.
Copyright
Wow.
infringement.
Copyright infringement.
I'm a fan of AJ Styles and Logan Paul. Yes, I am. Stop being toxic about it and let me be. That's why I left Twitter. But this match honestly feels like it's existing because there's nothing for these two and they had to come up with something. That was unfortunately the case for a lot of wrestlers thanks to The Rock fucking everything up.
Yeah.
Little too overdramatic with this movie, if I'm being perfectly honest. It's almost like this is reaching Avengers Endgame levels of intensity. Logan Paul's entrance apparently requires a split screen due to a drone flying all over the place. Knowing Logan and his desires to go viral, wouldn't it make more sense to just have the drone follow him to the ring the entire time instead of showing everything but him? Okay, now this is just getting a little bit overkill here. What is this, one of those YouTube videos where a scene is played out on 3 million screens all at once, causing the sound to assault your ears?
Catching a drone out of the sky.
Not exactly difficult to do if it's slowly approaching you, Pat. Just saying.
I believe a lot of it has to do with the fact that people are jealous.
Fans have clearly said they don't like Logan Paul as a person and not as a professional wrestler and separated one from the other. At least I did anyway.
Lightly because AJ Styles is...
Wow, we're only 15 seconds into the match and Logan Paul has already lost his headband. Again, I question why he always wears it just to lose it within seconds. Honestly, can the announce tables just remain destroyed after it happened? I never liked the idea of rebuilding it because it takes away the destructive feeling.
You learn a lot of tricks.
I honestly
Well,
don't
it was going to
understand
be
them
running, but AJ
rebuilding
Styles decided to teabag
the
Logan
announce
Paul instead.
tables, but I guess a lot has
AJ Styles had to
changed
do was
with
back up a
those
little bit and Logan
things.
Paul would have crashed onto the floor as AJ was watching the entire time yet somehow didn't see the crossbody coming. The look on Logan's face as he creepily approaches the
I
drone
kind of
he
like
brought to
the
ring with him.
drone
Focus on AJ
focusing
Styles, not
on
this
this
shit.
bit. That's honestly cool.
Fall from grace. I guess it makes sense to call it that instead of fall from grace, considering Logan has fallen from grace time and time again. Also, can we please stop showing this match from the view of the drone? I'm sitting in the comfort of my own home and yet I feel airsick. Where's the air sickness bag when you need it? The majority of this match is sadly Logan Paul posing for the booing audience and playing around with a drone he brought to the ring. And that's a shame too, because these two guys are insanely talented and I was looking forward to a banger of a match. Why does the show feel like WrestleMania Saturday but backwards?
It's always night 2 of WrestleMania that Logan Paul, something that really feels like it just can't be able to capture the false night.
Logan Paul phenomenally infringing the copyright.
Honestly,
Eric Ross
last
shows up
year
to
was
save
the
AJ
only
Styles
show
and win
that
the
did
match, but
that
fails
correctly
miserably.
with
What's
night 2
worse
being
is this
available
leads
night
absolutely
1.
nowhere, kind of like the Rock's wall in the main event.
Into the pulverizer.
I will take a sin off for Logan Paul's finisher known as the Pulverizer. Takes a lot of trust, timing, and coordination to get that move right.
Yeah, I
One
actually
moment when
enjoyed
the graphics
that
for the Women's
move.
Tag Team Championship match are showing the outline of Becky Lynch before the man could even make a return. Also, taking Bayley out of a WrestleMania match just to give Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria a mere 24-hour title run was the dumbest thing to do here.
Yeah.
Throwing in 5 sins. I feel bad for Bayley here. Also, having the first Women's Intercontinental Champion appear at WrestleMania, but as a challenger for a tag team title match instead of, I don't know, defending her
Big
championship in a
time,
historic first-time
honestly,
ever
I don't
moment.
understand
Isn't it
why
bad
they
enough
didn't do
Chelsea
that.
Green, the Women's United States Champion, is not even on the card of either night. Won't lie, that was a badass reveal of Becky Lynch with the door slowly opening to a loud ovation from the audience, just like when Joe Hendry showed up earlier.
How rusty is she going to be?
Wade Barrett figures Becky Lynch is too rusty to compete after being gone for the majority of last year. He must have missed when Edge returned after being gone for 9 years. It's like riding a bike for these wrestlers.
Crown Jewel champion as well.
The what? Oh, right, that one thing.
I got a feeling that with how things are going, it's gonna be difficult to remember that belt more and more.
It runs the ratings up.
Especially since that Crown Jewel isn't going to Saudi Arabia this year.
Becky's got it locked in.
Considering Liv Morgan's arm is not even close to a dangerous position, I don't think Becky Lynch has it locked in that much, if at all. Stone Cold Steve Austin declined showing up to give The Rock a stunner at WrestleMania 40, but figures showing up just to announce how many fans are in attendance works perfectly fine for him. Also, this
He probably is getting sick of doing moves, but then again, other people are thinking that he has one more match in him, but let's slip out at the battle.
One time before showing up tonight.
Oh, I remember this
Stone Cold went
part.
from missing the ramp leading up to the stage completely to getting stuck below the stage to crashing into the barricade at ringside. Boy, this had to be a tough night for the Rattlesnake.
I am going to ruin wrestling.
And that's sadly TKO's way of covering up a lot of questionable things they do, and Triple H's way of covering up a lot of the sad booking decisions.
Oh my
No
god.
special colors, just a blank screen with the words John Cena written on it, and you've already got an amazing entrance. Part of John saying you get nothing, which includes no special entrance. And in doing so, he created a special entrance in the process.
Oh,
Discount Iron Man.
but that's a cool helmet.
Dirt bikes are revving their engines throughout Cody's entrance, but don't even bother to do so at the part where everyone yells, "Whoa." Pat, just shut the fuck up and stop.
Nobody
ruining
can't
shit
be
on
able to
me.
stop saying,
Commentators are supposed to
"Whoa!"
stay
It's too
quiet during these
iconic.
entrances. John Cena wants to ruin wrestling for everyone, but proceeds to do that one thing where the bell rings and the two wrestlers soak in the moment at WrestleMania by looking all around. Also, for the record, things happening just because John Cena wants to ruin wrestling does not excuse any of it from the sins, and I will continue to call it out because, intentional or not, what I say goes.
We haven't met this John Cena in the ring once.
And after the match is over, we'd like to never see this John Cena in the ring ever again. Not because he's a heel, but because it's not working out for us.
So much to
I hate to
discuss.
say it, but a majority of this match is John Cena taking a hit and leaving the ring. Then the second half involves the worst pace for a WrestleMania main event, followed by the worst way to end a WrestleMania event next to Hulk Hogan dethroning Yokozuna, conveniently enough in the same city. I guess WrestleMania in Las Vegas is forever cursed.
And it's probably gonna be cursed next
Big
year.
boot? Wait a minute. Another big boot? Wait another minute. That's 2 minutes of this 21-minute match spent on 2 big boots and waiting.
Fight back with the big blows and then a
Apparently a smack to the top of Cody's head causes him to react as though he got poked in the eyes. Kinda like what happened on SmackDown a few nights ago.
another tackle.
Who would have thought I'd be wanting to see John Cena's vintage shoulder tackles done at the right pace after years of seeing it over and over and over again. I hope this does well for his actual last match, but this is WrestleMania in the main event. First, John Cena slaps Cody's head, which causes Cody to get blinded in the eyes. Then Cody uses the Force on John Cena, which causes John to get blinded in the eyes. What the hell is going on here? Boy, that's gotta suck. WWE turns John Cena heel and makes him want to ruin wrestling in the hopes that the fans will side with Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. And the fans are booing the hell out of Cody Rhodes instead. Mission failed, guys.
I'm really starting to hate people's opinions
Apparently,
on
2 attitude
any of
adjustments in a row,
any
one
of these
them being a
fans.
super
It's
AA,
really
wasn't
driving
enough
me
to defeat Cody
insane.
Rhodes, but Travis Scott somehow was enough.
The STFU.
Oh, are we allowed to go back to that name finally? Does this mean we can finally rename the attitude adjustment back to its proper term, the FU? And the answer to that is unfortunately no.
No.
Cody turns it around and referee.
What a shock. The referee conveniently walks into the corner where Cody is about to send John into and gets knocked over at the crucial point of the match. Cliche.
Another AA. Is that the 4th AA? Cody catches
Oh my
Again,
god.
I hate to say it, but Travis Scott is part of the cause of Cody Rhodes losing. Meanwhile, 4 attitude adjustments, 1 from the second rope.
Honestly, they
STFUs, and a
attempt to
smack
make
into the
Cody
exposed
stronger,
turnbuckle
but with
did
the
so much as
addition
leave a
of Travis
scratch on
Scott
it.
in this,
Here are 100
Oh
sins
my
for lacking
God.
all the logic in the world. Travis Scott has taken about as much time walking to the ring as this match has existed. John Cena be like, hit him, Travis, in full view of the referee, which will cause me to get disqualified and lose my opportunity at the WWE Championship. Totally a
My
perfect,
God.
flawless plan. I'm sorry, but this deserves a million.
oh my
Cody
god.
Rhodes is emotionally torn to pieces about hitting John Cena with the WWE Championship belt after getting hit by that himself. And when he had no problem cheating to win against Kevin Owens, and nearly killing the man in front of Sami Zayn. This is completely inconsistent with Cody's booking and a pathetic way to conclude the main event of WrestleMania 41.
John Cena has set the record.
John Cena is a 17-time world champion in the WWE, but it still doesn't beat Ric Flair's record as Ric is not a 16-time champion. If we're going by WWE world titles, then John broke that record a long, long time ago.
$1,178,000. I'm just gonna say this right now that every time with the details that he included in this night in particular, there was more to reason onto why I had a difficult time finding positivity when it comes to WrestleMania 41, when it comes to the fans, their opinions drastically changing, and in my opinion, it just gets worse year after year. Like, WrestleMania Sunday, when it comes to 41, honestly, there are some good qualities, but compared to last year, I don't even hear people criticizing the people or anyone else, and that and I had a difficult time finding enjoyment from that WrestleMania, but at least the fans were at the right place. But when it comes to this show, the fandom and fans were literally the issue. And regardless of the booking decisions of Cody Rhodes not taking Cena with the championship belt, honestly, it's stupid, but I really feel like they really wanted to make Cody Rhodes a good heel after everything that he went through in and out of WWE, but the toxicity is just beyond unavoidable, and it's just gonna get more worse and worse. It may happen in the past, but it doesn't even compare to this. And every time I witness these 2 nights of WrestleMania, it really gave me the impression that I wanted to believe that they're better in their own way, but let's just say that you can't be able to win out of any gambling game, out of anything, and WrestleMania is included. And truth be told, just witnessing Christian Miracle stating of how much WrestleMania has so many issues when it comes to ticket prices, honestly, they should have taken that down much more. And the fact that the main event is so problematic when it comes to Travis Scott interfering, among others. I really had a very miserable time and to consider on doing a reaction off of this and the last Sins video because of how toxic the fans are, and the fact that it's just difficult to take into the consideration that WrestleMania 41 was really that bad, even though it's nowhere near as bad as WrestleMania 9. And it really makes me depressed the fact that next year's WrestleMania, they're coming back to Las Vegas again instead of New Orleans, which, with them canceling on going to New Orleans, they should have gone to London. People really wanted to WrestleMania in London, and honestly, that should have been the perfect opportunity to go to London next year. Honestly, I am still going to react to Christian Miracle's Sins videos, mainly from PLV, Premium Live Events. When it comes to Backlash, even though I haven't watched it, and Money in the Bank. But like this one, it's gonna be late. It won't happen soon. Mainly the fact that I'm extremely stressed out and I really need to cool down a lot. Like I said, this year isn't my year compared to last year, but then again, next year will probably me stating that it's also not gonna be my year. But the bigger projects that I have are still intact, even though I could change my mind on canceling them. But we'll just see how it goes. I'm Lonely Fanboy 48 here, and honestly, please don't be toxic like the wrestling community. Like, they're beyond toxic, and at this point, I can't imagine how badly they would do if someone will probably hurt themselves when they push too far. Because in all honesty, Twitter, if Twitter is history and completely done, and the toxic people realizes this, they won't self-reflect, but at this point, if they do it again on Blue Sky, they're probably going to learn it the hard way. But it's not going to affect them. Anyway, I'll see you guys on the first week of July where I do reviews off of a Patreon who gave me a request of doing reviews of one cartoon of 5 episodes throughout the first week of July.